are at the Jedediah Smith interpretive site, and there are some horse or jackass art here. It says no camping. It's interesting. Look at the hillside way up under there. With all the holes there. And in this rock face here too. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Alright. Yeah, the female's getting out. Let's walk over and see what the sign says. The world of the mountain men. In the wake of the Lewis and Clark expedition, 1804-1806, buckskin-clad Americans, Frenchmen, and Englanders began trapping beaver and trading fur in the West. The fur industry was fueled by the use of beaver pelts for making European hats. The contributions of the mountain men are innumerable and include discoveries which opened the West to settlement. Life as a mountain man was not necessarily a lonely existence portrayed in the movie Jeremiah Johnson. Many trappers worked for companies and traveled in brigades. In his 1826 journey to California, Jedediah Smith was accompanied by 18 men, many in relationships with Native American women. Interesting. Jedediah Strong Smith, America's mountain man. Dia, as his friends called him, stood 6'1". He was a religious man and abstained from drinking, smoking, or swearing. Damn, I left my cigarettes at the bar. Unlike many mountain men, he was literate and carried a Bible and kept a journal. Smith is credited with blazing the western half of the Old Spanish Trail, a 1,230-mile trade route between Santa Fe and California. His legend: Smith was born January 6, 1799 in Jericho, New York, and became a hunter, trapper, and explorer of the American West. He traveled through or along the Great Salt Lake, Colorado River, Mojave Desert, California, and Oregon, opening much of this country to Western expansion. Smith survived 2 massacres and a bear mauling before being mortally wounded in 1831 on the Santa Fe Trail near Ulysses, Kansas. Painting of Smith by Harvey Dunn, 1947. I can't see what's in the screen because it's so bright. By his own account, Smith shows his inclination to explore. I wanted to be the first to view a country on which the eyes of a white man had never gazed, and to follow the course of rivers that run through a new land. His journey began, and here you can see the yellow path of his travels. On August 7, 1826, Smith and a trapping party of 18 men and livestock left Bear River in southeastern Idaho and headed south to explore for beaver. An entry in his journal captured the day he traveled through this canyon. Smith passed these Indian pictographs on I-70 east of Salina, Utah. The figures are still there. Robot, robot, robot. Okay, just above where I left the river Sevier, a range of high hills cross the valley. I ascended a small creek, Clear Creek, coming in on the west side, and at its head crossed the range of the mountains and third short side of the mountain. Days later, Smith would arrive on the California coast. Within 5 years, his adventures would be woven into the fabric of the history of the American West. Smith's brigade would have looked a lot like this, except with 16 men and 50 to 75 more horses and mules. So there you go. Cool. I can just barely see the horse there. And there's one of the women that was on the trail with them.
Whose phone just died?
And that one looks like a mule or a donkey. Probably a donkey because of the straight up mane.
Okay. After you do video, I need a paper towel.
Yeah. Did that say anything? Oh, yeah. So that is kind of a Jedediah Smith.
He only lived to be 32?
Yeah, well, someone killed him.
Oh.
Or he met his demise, anyway.
All right. Phone dead.
Very cool. So why is there a trailer hitch on top? Anyway, all right.
Just an ornament.
Yes, an ornament. Truck camper in repose. All right, so I cannot see a darn thing in the viewfinder, but this is just a majorly cool spot here along the road next to the siding road. Look at this, that is straight up cliff face here. Go to the wide angle here. So you can see how it's a volcanic rock, and you can see how it has turned into those pillars, columns. And I was just looking over here at this rock here. And you can see that there is rock art in there. So it looks like there's some crosses there and some other older faded things, hard to see. So anyway, yeah, very cool. Yeah, this Castle Rock, the more of it I see, the cooler it gets. This is just amazing. Yes.
As lower levels of the lava start to cool, they are also pulled into the shape entering the center. This way you get lava cooling and contracting down into these cylinders. It usually begins to shape from the top down into the middle or even the bottom of the lava flow.
We are the only traffic on this road. There's nobody else. So we are still just looking straight up here. valley is just full of pictographs, petroglyphs, all kinds of stuff. So here comes somebody here. See rock art from here. There's just this whole valley, there's so much of it. So we're away from, it's just like this one more overhanging rock here. Then we come to the town of Joseph, I think it is. 'Fremont Indian State Park. Fremont Indian State Park Museum. I would recommend the museum. So that is it for this area here. There's the creek there. Yep. This is some of the horse art, wild horses or trappers' horses, to Jedediah Strong Smith, America's Mountain Man, and also in tribute to the people, Lewis and Clark, who opened up expansion, immigration to the western part of North America. And that brass sculpture there was of Jedediah Smith. So they have these steel horses around there. This one, I believe, is a donkey. It has a straight mane on it. And the other ones that have more flowing manes are horses. But very cool detail. And low-cost maintenance. They don't take much food or anything or shelter. They just kind of hang out and don't have to be taken care of. So that's a good advantage of them. People just need to leave them alone is all. And there you go. There's one of them eating. They don't move much. And I think it's eating gravel or something like that. And there's one there, has its left foot up in the air. There's the old truck camper. And this was a pretty interesting monument to see, and we just kind of unexpectedly came across it out of nowhere. You drive down the road and you leave the museum, go past the Joe Stark campground, and you see a gravel road turn off to the left, and that's where it is. So there is, looking across the valley, that's where the natives, Indians that lived in the area did their farming, and they got their fresh water. They could see their enemies or people off in the distance approaching, so they had a great location. One of the things that is always really good to have if you're settling is fresh, clean water, and this is about as fresh and clean of water as you're going to get. And so you look at this, excuse me, and that is just interesting rock formations all around. That's the dirt road that you take to get in there to see the Jedediah Smith and Trappers Monument. These are the tall mountain cliffs to the side, and very interesting. That was what the second part of the video. And another look across the valley there. So this here is a bridge that you take as you come down the siding road, and then you cross over I-70. And I think that there's the town of Joseph there. And there's a nice rest area there where that sign was, just across the I-70. Unfortunately, they are very explicit, no overnight stays, and so that's not very friendly. That's a church there in town. That's an old house restored. And there's a lot of farming in the area. I imagine that's alfalfa or something. So it was a nice day when we got there. This is where we went for lunch, Bully's burger joint. And we got the Bully burger. It's like $9, and it has a big fried green pepper, 2 patties, and other goodies on the hamburger. And then we got some French fries and onion rings and shakes. I had chocolate, Kelly had vanilla. That's the place there. It's off of Main Street. Great food, great prices, and it was. We enjoyed it. There's a truck camper off to the left. So we had a pretty good time there. Got filled up. Got my hamburger fix, and this was kind of an interesting building with the surfboard art and some colorful flowers. I think those are pansies. There is, what was it, City Hall, I believe. More pansies. Flower pot out on the street. Excuse me. And then another look through Bullies. And those are the shakes. Those were mighty fine shakes with the whipped cream and maraschino cherries. It had that 50s diner feel to it. So if you do make it up to Castle Rock, it's about a 20-minute drive to get there, not very far. And you can get yourself a pretty decent meal. 2 burgers, Bully burgers, tater tots, onion rings, fry sauce, and tartar sauce, and they've also got ketchup. And so there's just a Rexall drugstore. This is building art across the drive from the restaurant. Kind of cool representation of old 50s cars, and then this is a nice park in the middle of town. So it is a nice town there. We really liked the Castle Rock area, the Fremont Indian Museum. Everything up around there was just a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your participation is greatly appreciated, and Poppy thanks you too. She's been working hard making sure there's electricity to run the computer for this video. Thanks a lot, Poppy. Good girl.